doing another episode of Transmetropolitan. Pre-recorded.
Episode 6. Journalism gets laid off. Spider Jerusalem is woken from his stupor by a screaming email notification. Good morning, Spider. You have received your last paycheck from the Word Inc. This completes the life cycle of one humble platform for the public commons. The Word thanks itself for its service. If you need food in the next 24 hours, please call your local public benefits concern. All the best, and keep 6! Mitchell Royce. Editor Emeritus. The Word, Inc. Spider. What? Fine keening gooning fuck. The cat, in a rare moment, gets the fuck out of Dodge, snatching a pack of cigarettes on their way to the laundry hamper. Spider! Computer! Call Royce! Computer, calling. Calling. I'm afraid the voicemail box for Royce is full. Spider, call his personal number, security override code, Teeth Curb Alpha 7-8-3-4-3 turd poking not a venus emoji. Computer, I am regrettably incapable of dialing that phone number as a robo-function. Splattered feces emoji. Spider, try again. I'll tip you handsomely. Royce, picking up the telecom, groggily whines. Spider, do you have any concept of day and night when decent sentient beings sleep, unbothered by crazy old motherfuckers like you? Spider, decent? Babcock. Since when was pay news ever decent? I read fixings in the Journalism Times, at least I did until you chopped our division. Royce now half awake. Do you see any evidence, tangible or recorded, proving this spurious notion you choose to subscribe to? Spider. We see the eviction document signed with 4 copies on public record. One signed by your very hands, Mitchell of so many shit bungles past, present, and fated future. Not so hazy now, am I, that they'd send you to Earth? Just in time to pluck money from the starving throats of the unwashed internet readers. And if those faces can make money by laying around all naked and tuckered and bare on their digital media porn pads, well, damn nabbit, money on the street and money to pluck away. Rumpelstiltskin couldn't hold a candle to the good old word in everyone's tight perimeters these days. Mitchell? You there? Mitchell? I don't know. Feel sick. Mitchell is what it is. Feel like maybe I am the butt end of a cruel universal prank. No, something outside. You give in a fear one moment, but one way another thing gives. When it finds you, there's always the dark circle swirl. I keep my ear out and out waiting for messages on how to stay anchored so this queer creature, the editor emeritus, is one of them, alright, though, like right before you drink the bit I find and come back with my own line you think may want bite back again, make some sort of sound, don't follow half your talk some way, so why not take another gulp, feel like a worm on this plane, gotta trust you some, not what you swallow, though my fingers feel hot. Lights start to short out, smoke begins to pour through the vents. Computer keys jangle pop up like shotguns in an old-time movie. A stray spark strikes the door frame as if 2 live wires rubbed against one another, sobbing together wildly amidst the chaos. Squeals from unknown sources. Black static begins to consume the edges of his terminal. The connection starts to go haywire in erratic, broken bursts. Space aliens! Spider. The aliens thing has been tried before. Not buying it. You have explaining to do. Explain? Why wasn't I notified? Belay that question. Just tell me why you shuttered the paper. Royce, too out of touch. Spider. They're a foreign concept and the advertisers don't even know what it means. Plus, I can't imagine they write. Probably just digital the app and everything else and people and things that crawl beneath pinging through junk food media. You wouldn't know anyhow. Nobody knows, and they certainly wouldn't admit it. Liberal propaganda, all of it. People aren't interested anymore. All reading in slug lamps at 2 quid 50 a piece nowadays. Bloody fucking shame, but really nobody will ever know, as nobody knows if there's been a war or all-out planet-wide nuclear strike every Wednesday evening when the worms fall into each other, same every week. Somehow everyone keeps letting out a hell breath. If this weren't news, we'd likely all just be dust by now anyways. Nobody needs duty. We only pretend there's a trickle of cash to pay rent. We really play each other for bundlers of bison in suits who only try. It seems that what this game stands for. Let them build a city. I'm trying to find the fire, but fuck yeah, the blue faith, United Housewife hysterics. Even when I do, which will be a rather interesting combination. I've no doubt we will hunt our tails across this bloody, bleeding meat of a city air by any means, but of more interest, as you suggest, is explaining how. Spider. On Earth, we just relied on talking to each other like members of the human race something, you apparently don't respect given our exchange. I don't have time to play games with your puerile, half-witted ideas. We need to get on message and spread the gospel through the power of the word ink. Royce, meaning what exactly? Maintaining journalism, are we the people? Would you come in there? I have such a cyclonic onslaught and up to our knees, wrists and necks, and go at it knee-deep. Mockery. Perhaps 24-hour news, and we the people? Perhaps even journalism's better done with 2-inch video segments and pre-production montage, and where people at all have little time to ruminate what the soul entails, but these moments hold the real big, life-ending jaws that yet again refusal to prevent these concerted grit traffic amidst dilemmas whose dawn was a survival. In times the hardest that exist truly, though. Those folks, just as the fish of their feathermosphere, understand that for every moment the universe exists, it survives, or a new dawn ensues where what made all those moments all worth nothing at all. Not even a single grain of scent for memories have already died out. Thus you start all anew, perhaps, and never really. But hey, how funny when the tides change quickly. Never known that, but as nonsense for the brain. Were the words spoken those moments of strange, or when something suddenly fell from the winds or lack thereof? Spider, it is time for desperate and freaky measures. I see. When next you hear from me, you will have a whole new truth to cash in on. Spider out. Spider taps away at his telecom with urgency, with enough gusto and adrenaline pumping through his frail veins. The last few tendrils of sparking madness seem to cease, and all is dark as the word he types is the end. In its own poetic fashion, fate comes to us, unfulfilled or merely unfinished. With the lights cut, Cuddles looks to the stars, hoping the end or not cycle is behind us for now. Spider speaks solemnly to the unseen creature through blackened mud. Fate unfolds, my dear girl. A wisp of vapor whips in the cyclone above his desk. The camera zooms slowly back from a wavy needle close up until we can read. And credits float out from the black, creating an interval. To the soundtrack, Spider begins chanting a new, ancient language from myth and lore, The words too difficult and strange to be written, but nevertheless rolling from his vocal cords so the scene is punctuated nicely. A month later, Mitchell Royce was on the phone with a gentleman caller when his TV got the connection for a special report. The fucking bastard is following through on a pirated signal being shoved into people's homes like an incel on a date with a liter of GBL. Spider begins a broadcast. The counterfactual interview where we engage with an individual or group of individual, trusting that the aggregate vibes of a billion people is enough variation to assume a field wherein we can ask for the names of anyone existing and simulate them. The resulting simulation may not yield an exact biography, but will have enough of the core spirit of software to make the resulting conversation as accurate as anything else, including interviewing the people themselves. And if you are honest with yourself, you will recall the moments you answered a question only to have that small voice within you try to raise a counterpoint. Today's guest, the Venerable Donald J. Trump, patriarch of the Trump Truth Media dynasty, which began in the murky haze before the before, when years were numbers, and matter could be dated, and our names were attached to our bodies and nowhere else, were visible only by us. This patriarchy's Rubenesque abomination, complete with a fake hornet squaw emitting from his body, the product of the first generations of processed foods, a sour smell of low-grade amphetamines, the simp of simpler times, a man who needs no introduction, but Spider, Jerusalem knows he needs one anyway. Spider, welcome. Tonight we bring our first witness, also a victim. Let's keep it noted very carefully. Our resident Nemicor writes, keep it on file. Old buddy is the original Don. Uncool, will you look at that? My own brain. Wow, of course it's true. Nothing's up. The conclusion beyond Earth which fit in it perfectly, so when suppose things end if we ever are like that, even if never unrotated. Helsinki. Finlanders looked in fear and awe. Why not wonder what that word before a country and indeed itself? Thus are the way one does as these things, and beavers who know timber like meat also look forward. All behold the whirlpool of the cosmos, a cosmological phenomenon present in some galaxies, including the Milky Way, causing the shape of the universe around itself, our mother, to tear time away, but not for any of us poor creatures. These things are neither natural, my lad, but engineered indeed. The cosmological machines make the very fate. The spirals, their energy is a part of all there is within that which this very cosmos was here ahead of time, and when it falls into our nearest, largest object, is made clear that no life can cling on it, where planets is but pebbles about a great boulder's impact. And they, me little man, know what might go so far one does. The galactic core was torn, and is 5 km diameter blown out as a result. The universe, when left to infinity, a simple effect. While infinity is not possible in science fiction, is real worlds that have grown without many fears exist near us above it all. There is no known top speed on how far away its distance is, though we seem too safe yet still to risk discovering more of ourselves to something this profound and without boundaries. Other things our technology to travel are not well suited for survival in such systems. Spider. But with that same tech, we can pull a bitch from the past and confound it with the fucking future. So Donald, how's tricks? Donald J. Trump, Rationized, Saxa, Kevayondine, Shay Tower, Shatsochina, Jirog, Gosni Brio, Guffa, Navan, Kedekuja, Sanduke, you congables. spider. Wow. Oh boy, that's intense. Harry was hordes and hordes before us as any person, maybe. Though people are weird, though being told different. Aye, that guy. Oh, but someone exists for every moment it survived makes no difference where exactly time seems wasted. Oh, poor dead boys out to rest. So all but none return back there. You! Oh, Jack! Zexuna! Trick! Counter. Unintelligible response. Unintelligible background audio blubbering, keening. Spider. But the backdrop says that one finds time has indeed passed just on hearing one type name and seeing familiar words. That a living, historical figure with an entire political reign exists on transcripts rather than the face of one mind perhaps in the beginning, or let alone a new time past the original generation. There are people for whom an unprovable truth. We came from space, really. Our species seems very foreign, but would justify the constant fear of robots, AI, the matrix, which pervade us we cannot escape but through fear itself. Thus there are deeper, insurmountable facts, given that today something or an impossible happening before last winter maybe wasn't just a thing to say, or a place that wasn't touched but found itself somewhere and back again in an instant, an endless cyclical whirling through black holes and emerging once again into dimensions upon dimensions we don't even think of. Wait, they were here. Every yesterday was another memory from different galaxies. Maybe longer ago, one remembers a billions, until some other matter seems left or too small. But even so, more memories one did lose. And one place held by darkness just for itself in a time. Another story could hold past its end, or what waits across it. You shouldn't make jokes about evil either, or there will only always continue in reverse upon an origin otherwise never occurred, until after which some unknown figure, in this case it's me now, me who's laughing, that figure goes uncredited here right now. Spider to Mike, a fricker, and in just 12, how? Spot bead! Mitchell Royce flabbergasted. Royce, house, get Spider on the phone after his show is done. Cole over in his office, an archipelago for one. What is he thinking? Cut house. I know, Mitchell, you do not like Spider's shenanigans, but the man has had a run-of-the-mill life. Royce. And this makes his shenanigans justified in any way at all? House. It makes his choices and his way of speaking and presenting information to you that of a professional of journalism. Royce, I need this station back on a normal channel pronto. Do you hear? House. Too late. The deals have been signed. The channels have been commandeered by military interests. The future is in communications in subspace, faster than light, subjecting the dark forest to carpet bombs. Royce, to self, what am I hearing from my house? It's just too strange to believe. A commercial plays. The future has a phase. A series of silhouetted images appear of the people's future leader who has the power to see them in their everyday life in order to guide their decisions for optimal outcomes in all aspects. A voiceover states in a low monotone. They also reveal the secret that everyone can become part of this great community by downloading our free AI agent, which will guide you on how to join the cause to unite all people across borders with no discrimination for all humanity. If you're happy with your current life, then we want you too. This is a free offer available exclusively from us until January 1st, 2195. So act now. Click here if you agree, and we promise 0% interest for 6 months on our new app, My Life. A disclaimer runs over the bottom of the screen stating that your information will be collected by third parties. Spider, it's the future. We cannot get there without the ability to move about in a time that is faster than our own. Royce, if you think it is actually 2195, you are just as deluded as my first guest here. We are more in the past than previously thought, and those shadow plays want us to go feudal. Look, I'll introduce you to the developers of the counterfactual field. We'll get nice and drunk and vulnerable and share our aims at using the field to fuck fake news in the face. You with me. Royce, you had me a drunk. I'm in a state of shock, but it's not your fault or anything. I just really feel like things are spinning out of my hands a bit lately and could use some advice and guidance. Can't hurt to let myself get swept up in what may or may not be real. Counter. This is how it would feel. I want the moment right before when everything is going good and then just... Suddenly, the screen goes black. Spider walks back from the shadows and says, "Good news. The show is renewed." Royce, wait. What do you mean, renewed? How did the public like the episode if we just aired it now in my mind? Royce sits in the darkness. He sees nothing and feels cold, but hears a voice. In an interview with me earlier today, Royce had a different story to tell about events that occurred before this one. I don't know how I can explain this anymore, but for a moment, while I spoke with him, I got to see through his eyes. What I saw was terrifying. It changed everything. The truth behind what I said has become unreliable. Royce turns on a small reading light and finds himself back on the set of the show. Royce turns and sees Spider. Royce, I have been having such strange dreams lately. It almost feels like these dream states are becoming more vivid than reality. But now, I must be overthinking. Maybe they aren't even dreams per se. They are more like memories being played back inside of me like an old VCR tapes of memories and feelings that are realer than the current time because there is no distinction between what is real or fake. In dreams, I remember feeling emotions stronger than when I am awake. Do you ever feel that way too? Spot feed. Roy sits up on stage and blinks rapidly before putting his glasses on. He looks out at the crowd, staring up at him expectantly as if expecting a show. Then he sighs softly. Okay, folks, we'll keep this quick and simple, okay? He takes his glasses off again, wiping the lenses on a piece of cloth before looking out into the crowd again, squinting as if trying to discern a pattern from far away. Let me start with what you came for this show's new guest, Mitchell Royce, editor-in-chief at the Good Word magazine. Now, let's take a moment of silence for ourselves while I tell you what this man has done to my poor friend and collaborator Spider here. He has ruined all of his hard work just because he couldn't accept facts. You know, I'm just going to leave you alone and let the audience come at him for themselves. Spider, I have a better idea. Folks, we have a very special surprise guest. Another architect of our suffering. One that precedes that Trump smear that festers on the floor to my left. Folks, give it up for Henry Kissinger. Spotlight on an empty space of the stage, when suddenly the air bends and the sudden shockwave slaps all in the face as the orthogonal universes prop out the historical turd, Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger. This is wrong. You can't use counterfactuals so willy-nilly without considering what the impact might be. Spot feed. Audience erupts in boos. Counterfactuals in use, you can't do it for commercial purposes. Kissinger, but you also shouldn't use this technology for nefarious purposes. Either think of the potential consequences if you get it wrong or manipulate people's minds on purpose. Think about how they wouldn't even realize what's going on because of how powerful this could be. Spot feed. Spider. Well, that concludes our counterfactual interview episode. But first, here are some quick messages that are brought to you by my sponsors. Messages flash across the screen accompanied by an announcer. In the age of artificial intelligence and robotics, life has gotten significantly easier for human beings, but there will always be the desire to do something else than what we are forced to do. That is why you need to think about your future if you want it to be a good one. This will require thinking creatively, taking risks, and working towards a goal no matter how unlikely it appears right now. However, if you do all that, then things should turn out the way they should. There may be setbacks on your path to success, but these obstacles should motivate you more than they demoralize you. New message. There's a world where the rich become so powerful they become gods. When this happens, they no longer see humanity as equals. Instead, they view us as property, objects that belong to them because they created us all. They control everything. Politics, science, the media, even the food we eat every day is theirs. But what does all this mean? Is this true for your life? Mitchell Royce, editor. What are you watching me for? Henry Kissinger, statesman and war criminal. You've created something incredibly dangerous, and we must prevent it from getting out into society because people will misuse it. They will abuse it like any other weapon if given the chance. But also, if we do nothing, then there's no way of knowing where it will lead. As with any new technology, some good will come from it while there'll also be downsides. However, in this case, it's clear we must act to stop this madness once and for all. Audience member #1. Well, why not just use the technology responsibly? Henry Kissinger, because the technology is too advanced for society to handle properly at this time. Spider, you hear that? Kissinger thinks you are too much of an idiot. All of you. How do you respond, audience? Audience member #2. No, we're not. Audience member #3. He's lying. Spider. Well, folks, you have been warned. Henry, would you like to take your leave? Henry Kissinger. No, I refuse. This needs to end. It needs to be stopped before it begins, otherwise you will all suffer terribly. Please understand that we're just trying to protect you here. We're only doing what needs to be done, okay? So please cooperate or things might get very ugly. Spider, I'm just gonna head home. Folks, I'm gonna lock the doors for an hour. Audience, have it Henry here. No questions asked, but do clean up after yourselves. Night. Henry Kissinger. No, I am leaving. Anonymous 5. Don't you dare leave. Kissinger. Yes, I am. Anonymous 6. We're going to get some answers. And we're going to make sure that none of these assholes go anywhere near public offices. We need to know what their plans for us are. I have friends here who know some people. Crowd! You fucking traitor! Go! Go and don't ever come back! Crowd chases Henry. The door's locked. The audience has their way with history. Fade to black. Mitchell Royce, editor-in-chief of The Good Word. Okay, folks, it's time to say goodnight on this fine evening, I guess. If you want to know what's next on my schedule, just wait 30 minutes until my show starts at exactly 1 a.m. Spot feed. Spider to the screen, looking around nervously. Folks, I'd like to introduce you to someone special. You see, he's quite unique, in fact. This is no ordinary man we have here today, but rather he's made out of atoms too large to exist naturally. These atoms allow him to travel through dimensions beyond what we can comprehend. This man may be able to solve the riddles of our past, present, and future all at once, and yet here we are in space, on the edge of infinity. Royce, come, okay? Hi, folks. My name's Royce, and, well, Spider, what's that, Royce? According to my producers, you have a new project in journalism, a way for us to extract the golden truth from the festering bunghole of those in power? Do tell! Royce. All right, Spider. So like I was saying, my team came up with this idea that by studying the way reality changes across space-time using entangled states of quantum particles, it would reveal new secrets about reality itself. Now, normally this wouldn't be too interesting or important, except we've discovered a new type of space-time manifold where information spreads across the entire universe. Spider, suddenly aware. Fascinating. Go on. This has me in tears already. Royce, our experiment showed not only a way that two quantum objects connected via Bell state, but also two objects whose entanglements are shared by an enormous amount of mass could transmit information in less than light speed through space itself. And as unbelievable as it is, we're starting to think maybe time travel through wormholes in general isn't so much science fantasy anymore as actual reality. And even without access to any black hole-like event horizons in our future, imagine if it were possible just in one point in space, the possibilities could be mind-boggling. This would allow humans to create an artificial network spanning the known universe instantaneously using entangled photon pair states from the ground up. Even in time-space, we've had absolutely nothing of our own creation to compare ourselves. Spider to cameraman, how do you like those peaches? I'm loving the sound stage we built tonight. It really brings us down into it, don't you think? You wraps up the show and gets Royce to get Spider to sign a 3-year contract to host his new show, The Counterfactual Interview. Royce sits up out of stasis sleep after months aboard The Good Word. There is now no play safe for the likes of them anymore, though there would be no way in hell she wasn't going to do it for all those backstepping scumbags. Her job had gone beyond being an investigative reporter of fact. Spider's out of commission, but there will be no rest until they complete their quest for truth in journalism, the final destination after every other goal. A computer terminal in the ship has one word flashing yellow and underlined with a green blinking cursor next to it. Read this. The crew finds some kind of wormhole nearby. A massive distortion appears, opening up what looks to be a vortex between their ship, which is flying forward very close to them, which may explain why they didn't realize what this phenomenon really was. Maybe into somewhere else. Space-time has warped around this thing, creating a path through normal space-time, leading them through into another section of hyperspace, with stars surrounding, though this portion still appeared to move away at faster than light speeds, making things difficult for him. You said, news of my out of commissioners has been rendered way out of proportion. Audio feedback. The channel you are listening to is offline. We apologize. You have entered into unmarked territory. Rebooting station now. Spider, This is an above average premiere episode after party. Royce had made us a promise. Royce, you rat. How much money is he making these days by playing on our minds? And why would such things exist at a high degree when he was born? No time. That must be because someone in his past or a relative made some big mistakes. That is, until we realize we are trapped like fish, if not just another dream from an insane mind that sees too much and is able to process that information on the spot without thinking. Or maybe there isn't such an entity as you call them who is trapped forever inside your brain. Spider! This and other issues will be tackled next week. Good night. Say good night, Royce. Royce! Good night, Royce. Oh God, it was good tonight. Audience laughs hysterically and cheers as music begins. Cue credits. Roll and music for season 1/new opening credit graphics to reveal season 2. Then begin roll end song and start theme tune and credits roll again on a split screen with more footage/video. When this part is done, we will see Royce standing alone by the door with his arm around me, Royce like some sort of lover or friend or something. And the episode continues on and on until I can no longer take this fucking thing that makes people sick with themselves. There will only come a point at which people decide not to watch this bullshit anymore. This show really should just shut down completely since nothing works on TV right now anyhow. Everything is garbage these days. We're living under capitalism, so it makes sense. We were meant for bigger things than just watching ourselves get used up, don't you know? But before he can utter the last word of that final sentence, the scene begins to fade with a flash. Now suddenly everyone except Spider himself seems frozen as he disappears.
Alright, off to work. Night. Night, night.